when it comes to change, you really have to having that desire to change. That's the key things.
Hey, Nini, welcome to the show.
Hey, Max, thanks for having me.
Why don't we start off with you introducing yourself to my audience?
Okay, wonderful. Well, I think first of all, thank you so much for having me. My name is Nini Tolson, and my background started with as a cabin crew with 3 different international airline, and then unfortunately, in 2010, I had a plane accident, so that really changed my life completely. And since then, after that, I started a business with my husband together in terms of the coaching. So for the past 12 years, we have been, having this Tolson Institute, the consulting business firm, and helping professional people to, having more impact and, more influential, but of course, making more money.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about making more money, right? So let's take a step back. So your turning point for you in your career was you had an airplane accident in 2010. So can you tell us more about that story and how that happened?
Yeah, I remember was the flight from London Gatwick back to Dubai, and then I think just before landing, probably 20 minutes before the landing, and then I just fall down in the back alley, and just with that few seconds, I fractured my kneecap in 5 different places, and then through that I went to 3 reconstruction surgery. So with this accident, actually left me with a permanent disability, but also the emotional pain for the next 2.5 years. I lost my job, and I experienced close to 3 time miscarriage. And after all that, I decided to went back to Taiwan to rebuild my life. And I really working on reinventing myself in both personally and professionally with the new skills. I think the big moment for me was realizing that I don't want to stay stuck in the past. So then, together with my husband, we decided to start a business in Australia. It was tough at the first, but we keep going. And I think by 2021 we reach a milestone. We're making a 7-figure income in the multiple markets. So I think this journey show that even though the tough time, you still can make a new and successful path for yourself.
Yeah, and going back to the accident, like you've been working in the airline industry for multiple years before that accident, and then when you had that accident, that was a big change for you because now you're like that's all you knew, and I'm assuming that you were lost in terms of like what the next step is, and you also had to like recover and had surgeries, and as you mentioned, you all had a few miscarriages along the way, so that's obviously a lot to take in terms of like adapting to a new life. So how did you get your mindset uh, in the direction that helps you get to this goal of building the Tolson Institute?
I think I was really lucky back then that actually surround me. I have a very supportive leaders around me. The company sent me to the best psychologists in Dubai, but I also have a very good manager. But also, my husband was my boyfriend back then. Like he's very supportive. So I think to me, because through that time I actually experienced PTSD, and then I realized that if I, keep relying on those medication. But if me personally didn't do any change, I'm still the same person. So that is the point. Actually, when I see there's so many people surrounding me being so supportive, I feel I also need to do something for myself. So I think that is really the turning point. But also, like I mentioned before, when I close to that 3 time of miscarriage, I think that is also a sign for me. It's like, hey, Nini, you need to, now you having a different role, you're going to become a mother. You need to do something different. So I think that's kind of that moment, big moment for me as well.
One of the things you mentioned is your support network. Your boyfriend at
Yes.
the time, right, gave you a lot
Yeah.
of the support to help you overcome those hurdles. So, for
Yeah.
someone who's looking to make a change in their life or career, how do
Mm.
people find those people that they can rely on? Because a good example is if you're looking to start a business, your friends might not be the most supportive. They might give you criticism. Oh, why are you doing this? Be happy with your job. Like family as well, they want you to take the safe path. So if you do have to build a support network from scratch because your current network will not support you on your endeavors, what is your advice to help them find the right minded people?
Mm. I think first of all, I think that's where usually our clients, looking for us is because as a coach, we actually creating that safe environment, but also unconditional positive regard to support those people. Like you say, with a lot of clients who come to us, they probably in that transition, in the job transition, they probably want to do something to chasing their dream. They have a wish and hope, but like family or friends like, are you serious? Like, why you want to do this? All the things. And sometimes with those negativity is not easy because the environment is hard to change. So the only thing that you can do is change how you think. And I think through the journey itself, you really need somebody there to 100% to support you. So that's why we always also encourage people, if you really don't have somebody there to support you, found a mentor, found a coach who can really support you, because we all know that all champion all have a coach. That's where us coach for, to 100% support them.
In terms of like going from the airline industry as part of a cabin crew into entrepreneurship, what were some of those transferable skills in the airline industry that you're able to use to pivot into entrepreneurship and make it a success?
Okay, I think living in Dubai was really wonderful. I have been able to meeting people from different culture, especially in the Muslim country, was really valuable. So I think my time as a cabin crew member interacting with people from 126 country really changed how I understand emotion, but also told me crucial skill for connecting with others. And this skill have been really beneficial for my business journey, because when we talk about the emotional intelligence, one of the things, recognizing other people emotional makeup, but also building a relationship. Like leadership, those skills are really the key. So I think with a background with 3 international airlines, those experience really helped me to shape my character in a very unique way. So, it's easy, very easy for me to, even on a call or on a Zoom, with people, I can very easily to start a conversation. So, and that's some of the things that I also see in my clients when they struggle, when they want to start a business, because they don't know how to interact with people. But as a human being, we always interact. We always need to say something. So those are the skill I think is really beneficial for my business journey, make my business journey much easier.
What is your advice for people having like a global footprint in terms of like making a good impression with people that they've never met before from another country? Like, what's your advice to ensure that they are giving the good first impression for people in another country that they're not accustomed to?
I think first of all, very important is that the first sale is you. So by that means is that you have to present yourself really well. We all know that you only have 4 seconds to make the first impression, and people decide if they want to do the business with you or not. So I believe that your customer have to see you has the best choice in the marketplace, with the authority, but also your expertise. And I believe do that, you will have people lining up to buy from you.
Again, like we're in a global marketplace, very competitive. I'm assuming your business has clients from multiple countries. What do you recommend in terms of someone in business trying to stand out from their competition?
Do you mean that for their personal branding? Is that what you?
Yeah, personal branding or like their business, right?
I think just like I said before, the first sale is you. You have to really presenting yourself well, because I know nowadays people doing those marketing or funnels, or even your profile. You really have to be good what you really do. So I think the first thing really have to set you apart from your competition is that you really need to know your strength and your talents and also your expertise. That is the very important, because you really need to know what you're talking about. When you can set yourself apart from your competition, which is your expertise was really good, nobody can replace you. That's where you really, really stand out.
So, for your business, did you start off with one country and then you expanded?
Yes. At the beginning, like I mentioned, we start in Australia, and then for the past decade, we actually partnered with a lot of event organizer. So for us, we actually impact at least 20,000 professional around the world. We start online event in Taiwan, but also the live events across Australia, the UK, USA, but also Malaysia. So and during the COVID that period, pandemic, that we actually do a lot of big online event like an online summit. So for both me and my husband, we train a lot of people. Sometime in one summit we can up to 500 or up to 5,000 people. So those how we do our business, and then through the pandemic actually reach across the global.
So when you started your business in Australia, when did you know it was time to expand to other markets?
I think is that the actually the market will tell you. I think when we start in Australia for a few months, I think we moved back probably about 2013. At the beginning, we had some challenge, and then me and my husband we start doing some door knocking, and then we actually get very lucky. We get some very good business, coaching clients just through the door knocking, and then after that, for about 8 months, we're doing really, really, really well. Um, close to a half million income. But then all of a sudden, the economy hit the Australia. Everything just stopped. People not buying, and we couldn't afford a very expensive rent. And then we just couldn't find any clients for all of a sudden. And then so that's the time that we actually decided to okay, we move back to Taiwan, and then we start a different strategy. We start, reaching out some influential people, like I mentioned, event organizer. We do a lot of travel to, visit different clients. And then one of the things really helping us is a referral network. That's really helping our business. And through the referral network, we actually tap into a different country. This is how we actually open the UK market, but also Malaysian market as well.
Yeah, you discussed a bit earlier about like building your personal brand and showing your expertise. Like if you become really good and well known, your referral network could be a good portion of your business.
Yes, yes, because you can imagine like as a coaching business itself, it actually you probably have to spend about minimum of $2,000 to require one coaching customers. However, with a very strong referral network, we actually can bring down our cost very very minimum, because with a referral actually is a zero cost. So that's how our business get really successful, because a lot of our clients have very good result from us, and they always refer us to their friend, their family, or their colleague.
So, as you already mentioned, you had some challenges in Australia. People weren't signing up to be your clients. Another issue, as you know, a couple of years ago, COVID happened and the whole world shut down. During this time, a lot of businesses end up failing or getting by the skin of their teeth. But how were you able to weather the storm and also thrive during those times?
I think in the challenging time like a COVID crisis, I found that staying flexible and adaptable make a very big difference. I think my business not just only survive but also thrive by. I think the one thing very important was embracing the change and exploring the new opportunity. Like I mentioned, especially for the past 3 years, we really opened the Malaysian market. And as I highlight before, I think the combination of the emotional intelligence with those skill, but also the discipline, I think play a very vital role in overcoming those obstacles and experiencing a significant growth.
And speaking of significant growth, as you mentioned earlier, you have now a multiple seven figure business. What were some of the strategies and principles that you implemented to get to that seven figure? Because of some of my listeners could be at the six figure threshold and they don't know what they need to do to break out of that six figure to seven figures. There is some of those roadblocks. So, what was your change from being able to do six figures annually to seven figures? Like, what was the big drastic changes you had to make?
Okay. I think personally, in my point of view, I definitely believe that emotional intelligence was important for our business success, because I believe that it's about understanding and handling emotion for myself, but also the others, which help me to deal with the different business situations. but also building the strong relationship. Here are the three big ideas that really helped me to grow my business a lot. I think the first thing is what we call the empathy in leaders. What that means is that being kind as a leader, understanding, my team, but also the business partner, how they feel really helped me to lead with kindness, because that make the working environment more positive, but also for the team to work well better, so increase the productivity. Also, I think effective communications, because about 85% of any relationship problem come from the miscommunication. Also, if you want to grow your business, but a lot of business owner found a challenge to communicate with the team. So the emotional intelligence, helped me to talk more clearly, but that also means that I could connect better with my clients, with the business partner, but also my team. So making us work together better and keeping the clients happy. The third part, I think, is, like I mentioned, being strong and flexible. I think business is like a mental game. The business world always change, and the emotional intelligence, I think, help me to stay strong with things get tough. I learn how to adjust to the new situation, but also make the smart decision when things get hard. And so you can stay positive all the way, because the research showed that the one negative emotion can impact your performance up to 4 hours, and you will need five positive emotion to cancel that one out. So I think emotional intelligence was really the big part of my business growth so much, because I'm using this in so many different fields, in leading, in talking, staying strong, but also building a relationship, motivating the team, also focusing on the customers. But the most importantly is that making the decision. So for me, I can build a strong space for my business to keep moving forward.
In terms of adaptability, as you mentioned, how can one constantly evolve and be innovative to ensure that they stay ahead of the curve and maintain their current business? Because we've seen a lot of examples in business history where um, companies are super successful and they don't want to make a change because they don't see a need to, and then they end up getting destroyed with new technology. So, what is your advice in terms of always keeping um, the pulse on the market in terms of the current and future state, and what are your recommendations to stay ahead of the curve?
I think one of the things I see a lot in not just individual, but also with the business people, is that they're having that fear of the failure. So which is, many people worry about failing. It can be the past, they having some past experience, they make the mistake. And I also see that quite a lot, especially in the Asian culture, is that um, we don't like to make mistake. We feel like we're losing face. So that fear of the failure or fear of the making mistake is actually really like a break, like holding those people wants to moving forward, and then actually make them less confidence. So they hesitate to take risks and need it for success. So I think one of the things is that for those people, or they thinking about wanting to change, one of the things is that they really have to remove or eliminate some of those potential fear that inherent in them, because only then, because what we say is that um, our subconscious is 95% control what we do, how we want to taking the actions. The conscious only 5%. So even though right now maybe we're talking right now, you want to do certain thing, but unconsciously if you're having that fear, it actually will stop you from taking more action. So my advice is, if you are aware of that, which is, I think, the first thing is actually you need to having that self-awareness. So if you're having that self-awareness, then you can find the right cure to fix that. And then only then you'll be able to moving forward. It's like you need to reprogram your mind.
So, what is your advice in terms of reprogramming your mind? Because as a child, you have all these habits, and then as you get older, it's hard to change those types of habits and those mindsets. So, what is your recommendation to slowly transition your mind to be more positive and proactive?
Mm. That's what we do, is that we're using the latest AI voice recognition technology to helping our customers to identify their possible weakness, but also, help them to unblock more of their potential. So just in, 90 seconds voice recording, we will be able to find out, some of the potential that has been happening in their subconscious level, because only then we will be able to create a plan to help them to also creating, start creating the positive mindset, but also creating a new habit and behavior, so they can be able to on that journey to the success in the all area of their life. So that's we are helping our customers doing it. We also have a lot of customer come to us in that job career transition. A lot of people feel lost. They don't really know what they're good at, what they should do for their job. So this is also the latest AI technology that we're helping our customers to find out their inner potential, so they can, really, go for their dream.
You mentioned earlier, this is more prevalent in Asian culture about like perfectionism and not making any mistakes. I have that too to a certain extent, but that ended up being like analysis paralysis, where you don't want to make the mistake, but then you end up not doing anything about it. So, what are some steps that you recommend in terms of like helping overcome that perfectionism and being okay to make mistakes?
I think first thing very important is set up a realistic expectation for yourself. I think as a perfectionist, you always want to, reach for the best. And then sometimes it's all because you didn't set up the realistic expectation for yourself. So for example, one of the game we like to play with our children, my daughter, she's very competitive. She always wants to win, and she just like a perfectionist, and then we know that when she didn't get a grade that she wanted, she feel very upset. So one of the game we play with her is that, for example, we will say, Nikita, what is the goal you would like to achieve for this year? And then she will say, oh, I want, my grade, every subject, the average, can be up to 98, or she would say, oh, I want everything to be 100. But we all know that that is impossible, so we don't want to set up for the failure. So after the discussion was like, what is more realistically for you to achieving your grade? And then she think about it. She said, well, I think everything above 90% is good for me. So now she knows that, what you need to do, you need to set up the plan, be able to achieve that. So now for her, every semester she can reach her score up to 90%. But you know what we say to her? Sometimes she come home, she will say, oh, mommy, I got my math for 95%. And I would say, so how much mommy and daddy love you? 100%. So for her, even though she didn't get 100, she know we always love her 100%. So I think one thing for people who, was that perfectionist is really important to set up realistic expectation for yourself, but also remember success is a long-term journey. So incremental improvement, that is the key. So for you, if you want to reach certain goal, can be how much money you want to earn. But if you have a massive gap, you need to thinking how you're going to close that gap. So that incremental improvement is important. So I used to act like that. Everything wants to be perfect. And then at the end of the day, I give myself a lot of stress. So then I know I need to set up realistic expectation for myself, but also that incremental improvement. So those two are the key.
Speaking of finances, as a confidence coach, you specialize in clarity, confidence, and cash flow. So, what are some initial principles or strategies you can provide to help people improve their confidence and their financial situation?
Well, I think first of all is that you need to require your self awareness, but also the thoughtful planning. I think to start with, really getting that clarity about your identity is crucial. So you need to focusing on recognizing your strength and the talents. So like I mentioned, with our latest the voice recognition AI technology, we assist our client in discovery their inner strength in just 90 seconds. And the second step is that very essential to enhance your strength. So making your invaluable in your field, when you have that exceptional skill that really set you apart from your competition. And building confidence further, that really involves your continuous skill development. I believe that competence creates confidence. So the more you learn and excel, the more confident you can be. And with these fundamental steps in place, the third key is to, like I mentioned, the set realistic goal with an achievable plan to enhance your financial reward. I always emphasize the importance of incremental improvement with my clients because I believe those are the key to the long-term success. So you really need to know who you are, what you're good at, and make your strength so, so good that nobody can replace you. And then using that talents and the strength to make that money. So those are the three important steps.
You mentioned a couple of times about realistic goals. Like what would be considered a realistic goal, right? You don't want to aim too low, then it's easily passable, but you don't want to aim it so high that it starts to frustrate you because you're not nowhere close to that goal. So what is your recommendation in creating realistic goals that are challenging but also achievable?
I give you one of the example. When I'm doing a lot of online training, one of the questions or one of the thing I heard a lot from the student is they will say, "Oh, Nini, I want to have a financial freedom. I want to make $1 million." And then I was like, "Okay, good." And then I'll ask them, "What is the most amount of the salary or the income you have made?" They can say, 5,000 US dollars, 10,000. So I say, okay, so the most you can have earned was $10,000, and you want to learn and you want to earn million of dollars. So there's a massive gap there. So I said, next question. So who do you have to become be able to make that money? And that is the real question that people have to think about. Is because they're thinking about making money or having success just like that, but it's not. It's about who you're gonna become in between, and with those experience, it's gonna help you to reach that goal. So sometimes I'll say to them, I don't want to say this, but I think you're probably just dreaming. It's good to be dream. Everything starts with a dream. But that's why I said at the beginning, change can be hard. Change is not easy sometimes. And my job is wants to make the change easy for my clients. So through that, setting up a realistic goal. So if that's the case, this person, the most amount that he has made was $10,000. Then the realistic goal can be, what is your 3 month goal? For example, do you think you can increase another $5,000? Yeah, that's probably possible. Just like when you're losing weight, which one is easier? If you lose, 10 kilo in 1 week or 10 kilo in 3 months, it's the same. So by setting that, you can say, okay, now I know that I need to set my goals for the 3 months is that I need to increase to to another 5,000. So because by doing that, that will increase their confidence. So if you say your goal way too big, it's impossible. It can be possible maybe if you win the lottery, but we know it's a lot of work to achieving that. So that is how you set up realistic goal. So you always need to identify the gap first, then you can set a realistic goal.
You said change is hard, right? And you try to make change easy for people. What are some recommendations to like make the change easy for people? And the other thing is to stick with the change because anybody, for example, a popular example at this time of year is getting fit, right? We talk about weight loss. Anybody can go to the gym for like a couple of weeks straight, but then doing it for a few years consistently, that's a whole different challenge. So, what's your recommendation to not only implement the change, but do it for the long term where there starts to be diminishing returns? Because initially you'll see some exponential growth right away because you're doing something new, but then the returns start getting less and less because you've started to get accustomed to the new habit. So how do you like keep going to build up those incremental wins to get that big result?
I think one of the things very important is that when it comes to change, you really have to having that desire to change. That's the key things. So if you don't have that emotional attachment or that desire to change, it's very hard to change. Does that make sense? You need to want to change. You need to having that desire to wants to change. And when you're having that desire to change, then you need to make a decisions to make that change.
And the other thing I want to mention that you already talked about is about like the $1,000,000, right? It's not what strategies or tactics that you need to do to get the $1,000,000. Is who do you have to become? A lot of people are reaching out to like coaches or experts to get that silver bullet, but it's not the silver bullet that they're supposed to be looking for. Is about who you have to become to get to that level. So, in terms of like self reflection, how can people figure out what type of person they need to be in order to hit those certain milestones?
Okay. I think, like we said, who we are or, the characteristic that already inhibit in use it through our, lifetime childhood all the way till now. So we cannot see those potential, right? I cannot see how you feel. You probably know, we have those anger, sadness, fear, then all these emotions, but we cannot see. So it's invisible. It's like, oh, I know, like a thing that I always hear is that people will tell me, Nini, I know I have something there inside of me. I know I have more potential, but I don't know what that is. I don't know either. So that's why we, using the technology to help our clients to find out those inner potential of themselves, because through this technology we can even know their enneagram, which is each personality type. Even when you mention about being a perfectionist, that is the enneagram type A. As a perfectionist, you definitely have some very good strength as a perfectionist, but also having some weakness. But the point is, how can we using the strength as a perfectionist to moving forward to become even the better version of yourself? So this is really, for me, when I'm doing the coaching, I'm not doing just on the conscious level, because like I mentioned, conscious level only 5%. What I'm really working on is subconscious level. So you really have to reprogram your subconscious mind, your belief, your value into a totally different person. And then in between, you start creating a new habit, because it's our thought to create the feeling, and it's our feeling to determine if we want to take the action or not. So you always have to upgrade here, then you'll be able to upgrade your actions. And once your action in place, this will having that long-term change installed in you. I hope this makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Again, you need it starts with the mind before you can take proper action.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, if I can share one of the success story with you, one of my clients, she actually from Canada, but she's Malaysian. So she live in Canada, moved there with a sister. For her, her parents always want her to do the old way, go and find a job 9 to 5, have a secure job. But for her, she always want to be a trader. She want to do investment. However, she found out that she actually have a lot of life fear, because how she grew up is, parents are like, doing those is like a gamble, is very tricky. You need to be careful. You're going to lose a lot of money. But she knows she has some talents there. She actually can make this work. So once we're using the technology to discover some of the painful memory hidden in her brain, which is called some of insecurity about herself, but also that fear of the making mistake. When she overcome that, she starting from 10,000 when she started investing was $10,000, and in 90 days she has doubled back to 20,000. But this is all about here the mindset, because she not fearing or worrying when she placing the order, when she doing those trading. So it's all in here. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
how
all about
that's
the mindset.
yeah, so that's how the transformation that I see in her. But she also feel much happier, because 61% of the adult population experiencing anxiety, and she said to me she used to feel so anxious even when she thinking about turn on the computer, have to looking at all those graphs. But now when the mindset is different, she actually, when she, turning on the computer is a different set of the mood, it's a different set of the emotion. It's actually the excitement. She thinking like, when I do the right analysis, making the right decisions, and the cash flow will come.
You've mentioned a few times already about using AI tools, right? AI has been at the forefront in the past like couple of years, especially with ChatGPT released earlier this year. How did you know that it was time to incorporate AI into your business? Because there's still a lot of issues or errors that AI still makes, but how did you find out that AI is the next move in terms of evolving your business for the new era?
I think as our clients, what they're really looking for is the excitement, the very attractive technology. You know, with our coaching business at the beginning, we're also using a lot of different scientific assessment to help our clients to understand them better, know themselves better. But one of the challenge it can be is that as a human being, we all have bias in ourselves. Is that correct? When we do the exam, we always want to make sure we get a good grade, even though they're asking that question, I know that I should choose that one, but because I want to look good, I choose another answer. So this is the a little bit challenge that we see it might have it happen sometime in the paper based or online based assessment is that it can have a little bit bias in you so that won't create 100% accuracy. So this is how we start involved with the AI technology. And for the past few years we've been using with this technology, helping thousands of people through this technology, and the accuracy was really really good. It's up to 99% because with the voice recording you cannot deny your voice, right? You do the recording, I didn't do it for you. So this is a thing that didn't have the bias there. So that increased the credibility, but also increased the accuracy of the assessment.
So again, one of the things that you've already mentioned is the AI. And for someone who's listening right now, that's a aspiring entrepreneur, as you know, with technology such as AI, the business landscape is always changing. So, what advice can you give aspiring entrepreneurs listening to you right now who are looking to build and grow a business?
I think first the thing is that, like I said, because the first pillar of the emotional intelligence, what we call is a self awareness. So you really have to know who you really are. You need to know what you're really good at, what you are not good at. So if you have a certain goal you want to achieve, like I say, what kind of personality trait or even the skill you need to have, or who do you need to become to achieving that? Because entrepreneurship is actually, how should I say, it's like a roller coaster. You encounter different situation every day. Sometimes you have to act like this, sometimes you need to act like that. So it's actually require a lot of flexibility. So but if you are type of a person that actually doesn't like to being this flexible, when we're talking about in the different science like a disc, some people with a S and C, usually they like to in their comfort zone. They're really comfortable, who they really are. People can do the job 10 or 20 years. But if those people they want to start their entrepreneurship, they need to do a lot of adoptions. They need to be very flexible because they have to turn their personality in a total different direction in order to make the business work and successful. So I think the most important thing is you really need to know who you really are. What's your strength, what's your weakness, who do you have to become, but also focusing on once you know that, you can set up the plan to walking towards that. And I think secondly, very important is that you really have to have the right mindset, as we said. Mindset is everything that you do. When you have a right mindset, nothing can stop you. So those are the two important criteria.
When you're working with like multiple like, individuals over the years, I'm assuming you have worked with people that that have a 9 to 5 and they're trying to transition into entrepreneurship. What are some of the common challenges that a person had that is used to the 9 to 5 and they're looking to go to entrepreneurship? Whether it's like mindset challenges or like challenges with their strategy. What are some of the common things that they find difficult when trying to make that transition?
Mm. I think a very famous speaker, Carnegie, used to say, the Carnegie triangle. We're talking about, you have the skill, you had the knowledge, but the most important is the attitude. That's how you become successful. So what I see, even in the individual, but in the business, what I really see, there's a few things. First is lack of the self-awareness. Like I mentioned, they don't really know who they are. They can do a job for 10 or 20 years, but at the end of the day, when they're having a conversation, they will say, well, I don't know why I'm doing this. I have no passion, but my mom said to me, my dad said to me, I need to do this because I'm the head of the house, but they lost the life purpose. So lack of self-awareness. Also, secondly, as I mentioned before, the fear of the failure. Many people worry about failing. That is one of the killer for the success if you want to become the entrepreneurs, because as a entrepreneur, you need to try so many different things to make the business work, and sometimes it's not working. So you have to having that ability to okay when you fail. Thirdly, is that what I see is people underestimating the emotional intelligence. 95% of the adult population, they claim they're emotional intelligent, but only 10 to 15% adult population do. So because when your emotional intelligence is not active, it's actually affect your leadership, your communication, and building a good relationship. And we all know if you want to have a successful business, those are very, very important. It's about how you connect with people. And number four, I think the challenge is that, the resistance to change, as I mentioned before, because people might stuck in the comfort zone. They want to change, but at the same time, that fear of being changed, resistant to change. Those are the four major challenges that I see in my clients a lot, preventing them from being, having that success they want in their life.
To segue into the Tolson Institute, can you tell us more about how the what the Tolson Institute is and how it works and how you help individuals and companies?
Our company itself has, we partner with a lot of event organizers, so we want to make more impact. Our goal, for me personally but also professionally, is that we want to impact a million of professionals. So we want to help those people to overcome, what we say, the mental challenges, the mental blockages, so they will be able to free to achieving their dream, their goal, and become more financial freedom. And also the most important thing is become more confidence in themselves, because confidence is everything that you do in life. So this is what we helping, with our customers. And we also helping some of the business to grow their team. So this is also what we're doing as well. So we do some online event, but we also do live event. So this is how we do for the past. My coaching experience is about close to 12 years. My husband, he's about 28 years. So we're actually in this field for quite a long time already.
And to wrap up our conversation today, Nini, how can people reach out to you or your husband in terms of like being interested in working with you to improve their mindset or be more successful with their business?
Firstly, you can check our website, ninitolson.com. My husband, Daniel, at danieltolson.com, or you can just type our name, Nini Tolson, on Facebook. It will pop out. And this is how we connect with our customers. Because usually, like I mentioned, we do have a lot of referrals from our customers. So usually people can reach out to us through this, but also if your audience are interested to improving themselves, to wants to become the better version of themselves, they're always welcome to reach out to me by the email, nini@ninitolson.com.
Sounds good. Again, I really enjoyed the conversation, Nini, and best of luck in the new year.
Thank you. Thanks to you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for watching. For more content on careers, job search, and self-improvement, make sure to hit that subscribe button.